The Brahmajala Sutta, also known as the all-embracing net of views, is the first sutta in the Digha Nikaya, the collection of long discourses in the Polycanon. This discourse is a comprehensive examination of various philosophical and speculative views prevalent during the Buddha's time. It addresses the diversity of beliefs held by different religious and philosophical schools, and it presents the Buddha's teaching on the middle way. The sutta begins with the Buddha residing in the Jeta's Grove Monastery in the town of Savatthi, accompanied by a large assembly of monks, a group of ascetics from various sects, who held different views on the nature of existence and the self, approached the Buddha to engage in a dialogue. The discourse unfolds in the form of a series of questions asked by the ascetics about the Buddha's perspective on various metaphysical and philosophical matters. The Buddha systematically addresses each question and clarifies his position, while critiquing the other views that were prevalent at that time. The Brahmajala Sutta covers a wide range of philosophical views, including 62 external speculative views and 2 internal speculative views. These views can be broadly classified into eternalism Sasottadithi, which posits the existence of an eternal self or soul, and annihilationism Ukkedadithi, which denies continuity of an individual after death. Sasottadithi, also known as eternalism or eternal view, is one of the 2 extreme speculative views that the Buddha refuted in the Brahmajala Sutta and other discourses. Sasottadithi holds the belief in the existence of an eternal, unchanging, and permanent self-atman, or soul that persists throughout time and beyond death. Key characteristics of Sasottadithi. 1. Eternal self. Followers of Sasottadithi believe in the existence of a permanent self or soul that remains unchanged and unaltered by the impermanence of the physical body and mental processes. This eternal self is considered to be the true essence or identity of a person, unaffected by birth, aging, sickness, and death. 2. Immortality. The adherents of eternalism maintain that this eternal self or soul continues to exist after physical death, undergoing rebirth, and experiencing the consequences of past actions karma in subsequent lives. 3. Eternal world. Some forms of Sasottadithi we also propose the existence of an eternal and unchanging world, or reality beyond the impermanent and conditioned world, perceived by the senses. Why the Buddha rejected Sasottadithi. The Buddha rejected the belief in eternalism because it contradicts the core teachings of impermanence anicca and non-self anatta. According to the Buddha's teachings, all conditioned phenomena, including the 5 aggregates form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness, that constitute an individual, are impermanent and subject to change. There is no permanent and unchanging self or soul underlying these aggregates. The belief in an eternal self or soul can lead to clinging, attachment, and the perpetuation of suffering. It fosters the idea of a permanent identity that seeks pleasure, avoids pain, and perpetuates desire, aversion, and ignorance. This clinging to the idea of a self is considered a root cause of suffering dukkha and a hindrance to spiritual liberation. Nibbana. Instead of embracing eternalism or annihilationism, the Buddha taught the middle way, which transcends these 2 extremes. The middle way recognizes the reality of impermanence and the interconnectedness of all phenomena, while understanding that clinging to the concept of an unchanging self leads to suffering. It emphasizes the practice of insight vipassana and the cultivation of wisdom panna to directly experience the true nature of reality and realize the liberating truth of non-self anatta. Ukkedadithi, also known as annihilationism or annihilation view, is one of the 2 extreme speculative views that the Buddha refuted in the Brahmajala Sutta and other discourses. Ukeda holds the belief that after death, an individual's existence comes to an end, leading to complete annihilation or cessation. Key characteristics of Ukeda 1. Non-existence after death. Followers of Ukeda assert that after death, there is no continuation of consciousness or existence. They believe that upon the disintegration of the physical body, consciousness ceases to exist, and there is no further existence in any form. 2. No consequences. Adherents of annihilationism also believe that there are no consequences or outcomes of one's actions karma beyond this life. According to this view, there is no karmic fruit or rebirth based on one's deeds, thoughts, and intentions in the present life. 3. Nihilistic perspective. Ukeda takes a nihilistic approach to the concept of existence and cessation, rejecting any notion of rebirth, afterlife, or continuity of consciousness. Why the Buddha rejected Ukeda? The Buddha rejected the belief in annihilationism because it denies the law of karma and the principle of rebirth, which are fundamental aspects of his teachings. According to the Buddha's teachings, all conditioned phenomena, including consciousness, are impermanent and subject to change. However, this impermanence does not imply complete annihilation or cessation of existence. The concept of Ukeda contradicts the law of cause and effect, which states that intentional actions karma have consequences that may manifest in future existence. By denying the principle of karma and rebirth, Ukeda dismisses the moral responsibility of actions and their impact on future well-being. Moreover, the belief in annihilationism can lead to a sense of hopelessness and despair, as it negates any possibility of future liberation or spiritual progress. It also hinders the development of wholesome qualities and ethical conduct, as there would be no meaningful consequences for one's actions. Instead of embracing Ukeda or eternalism, the Buddha taught the middle way, which transcends these two extremes. The middle way recognizes the reality of impermanence and interconnectedness while acknowledging the law of karma and the cycle of rebirth. It emphasizes the cultivation of wisdom panna, to understand the nature of existence and the practice of ethical conduct sila, to create positive karmic conditions for a more favorable future. The middle way leads to the cessation of suffering and the realization of liberation nibbana. The Brahmajala Sutta is considered an essential teaching, as it provides a clear exposition of the Buddha's approach to metaphysical questions and his rejection of speculative views that do not lead to liberation. It highlights the importance of wisdom and discernment in understanding reality and encourages practitioners to follow the middle way as the path to true understanding and freedom from suffering.